Meeting is being recorded.
So, do you see my screen right now?
Wait for just 1 second and it disappeared.
Okay. Maybe just one more. And now?
No.
Okay. Do you see it?
No.
And now?
You cannot see.
Okay. Do you see it?
No.
Now? Okay. Let me try.
Андрей, в работното поле има едно share бутонче, което като
Да, аз го натискам.
Така и след това трябва да включиш презентацията си.
Окей.
След това трябва да се избере кой екран. Сега виждам.
Сега се вижда.
Okay. Well, I would like to share some photos from the book of Pop Konstantinov and Kronsteiner about the epigraphical monuments of Old Bulgarian period. Why from this book? Because this book is the only edition of all supposed Old Bulgarian monuments. So, what is important about these Old Bulgarian epigraphical monuments? There are two connected problems, connected ideas of their investigation. The one is what is the style of these writing systems, whether they are the same as in the manuscripts, or they should be investigated, their paleographical features should be investigated separately from the manuscript. So do we have a special writing related only to the epigraphic monuments? The second interesting approach for me is what is the importance of these epigraphic monuments? Do they have a do they do they do they do they do they do can they be a proof of some development of writing systems as well? Because the Old Bulgarian manuscripts are too few. There are about 20, and of course we cannot be sure that all the Old Bulgarian writing systems are preserved intact. The problem is there are too few, and there are two completely different as writing systems as orthographic systems, and it's very hard to reconstruct this written heritage related with the Cyrillic or Glagolitic alphabet. So I will begin with this epigraphic monument of Samuel, which is very known, and all of you are are familiar with this one. So the main problem is that we have too few epigraphic monuments which are consist of more than 3 lines of the text. Many more of them are just graffiti, and graffiti is not very convenient for the reconstructions of the writing systems or the paleographical systems. So we are very happy to have epigraphic monuments like this of Samuel, because we can observe some combinations of letters, and what is more important, all the written heritage of Old Bulgarian period, we can divide when we have when we mean the Cyrillic systems into two main parts as the whole writing system. The first one is with the upright letters, not slanted, which are not hanging letters. And the second one is hanging with hanging letters, and which appear to be slanted at the right. The second variant is much more widespread than the first one is much more widespread than the second one, the upright letters, and which are standing below the line of the writing system, of the line of the text. So you see here a representative of maybe the variant of the uprighted letters, which are not slanted. But what is the very common with the Old Bulgarian epigraphic is that this line is sometimes you have a feeling that the letters are hanging, and sometimes you have a feeling that they stand on the line. So when you see this epigraphic monument, you are not very sure whether they are hanging or not. For example, see at the first line the letter omega. Can you see this? In Veimen Otsa, the letter O, omega. So it's not it is standing on the line. But some other letters and some other lines are not so easy to distinguish. For example, on the second line, you have duha, the letter D, which is not which is a hanging letter. So it's common with old Bulgarian epigraphic monuments. They are not how to say. It is hard to distinguish sometimes whether they are hanging or not. As a principle, when we compare with the manuscripts, one of the writing style, which is with this slanted at the right and hanging letters, is the Enina Apostle. And in Enina Apostle is typical for paleographic style of some Greek manuscripts from the end of 9th century and the very beginning of 10th century. And it's a typical style of Bulgarian manuscripts when we look at the more younger manuscripts like Apostle of Slepce or some other monuments. So there is a typical style of these hanging letters with the slant at the right. Just a few notes about the letters, which could be common with manuscripts as well. Look at the letter A, for example, in Otsa, or in in Samuel. Some lines below. You can see that the left part is not. This part is hanging, so it's not. This part do not touch the below the line of other letters, and this is typical of so-called folk manuscripts, if we can use this terminology. The manuscripts which are not with the official style, written in official style. But compare it with the Codex Suprasliensis, for example, as from the Cyrillic manuscripts. So I would like to take a look at some other monuments, which I think are typical for the South Bulgarian epigraphy. Most of these inscriptions are graffiti. For example, this one, and in graffiti you cannot recognize whether how it is written at all. For example, here at this capture description, you can see the letters, which are not easily distinguished from the original. For example, here is as Pop Slavomir. Maybe it is the it is the description, and we have here a typical example of this graffiti, which is well, the inscription is not official, of course. And what is interesting here, and you have excuse me, a unique name, which is came here, the name of the person Slavomir. So if we should decide whether we have a special writing system or writing style, others in comparison with the manuscripts, this inscription could be used as a proof that this style of writing is completely different from the manuscript. But well, it is just graffiti. Whether we can use this as a proof of a different style, I'm not sure. One more example for this is this Gergi inscription from the maybe at the end of 10th, beginning of 11th century. Here, when we speak about the chronology of all these inscriptions, we should say that with the exception of the layer in the archaeological excavation, we are not sure whether where is the upper whether we can use some different chronological criteria to say something about all these monuments, all these inscriptions, because from the point of view of the writing system and from the style of this writing, they are the same. We can say that this inscription is from the 10th century, but we cannot be sure whether this chronology should be considered as the right one. Typical for many of these inscriptions are the mixture of Cyrillic with some Glagolitic letters. This inscription from Krepche is typical. You have Pisaya Asgergi Grammatic, and you have, I am not aware of any other inscription from Old Bulgarian period that have a letter above the other letters, supralinear letters. You can see here the grammatic K is written above the E. And what is interesting here in regarding of mixture of Cyrillic and Glagolitic letters, it's Otsevo Mashtovica, and the letter St is, of course, a Glagolitic one. We have a very few Glagolitic inscriptions. What is interesting is just one abecedar from the Pliska, which is not completed. The end of this abecedar is missing, and the missing part is the part which is the very complicated part at the end of the Glagolitic letters, and the first one is without much interest for the linguist, because it is how to say, traditional one, as we can say. So you have here typical examples of to graffiti. For example, Pisajas, Sewo. Maybe this is Mashtovica as well, because the letter after Sewo begins with M, but well, we cannot say this with sure. You can see here at the right piece, which is the edition of the this inscription, and you can read Pisaja Sewo. For me, it should be Sewo M and the name of this Dorf, which is Aus dem Dorf. It is translated into German. I will say Pisajas, just Sewo, and the Sewo is Mashtovica. I'm not sure, of course, whether this is from these descriptions from Krepche. We have a lot of them, a lot of graffiti. And what is interesting here is the, let me try to orient this at left. No, just a minute. Which is very interesting. One more, maybe. No, just a minute. So it is very unique inscription because it's written in Cyrillic, but it's actually a the Greek abecedar, and you can read here Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, not Delta, Delta, Zeta, and etc. So it's very interesting as a tradition, as we have inscriptions written in the Cyrillic and Greek as well, bilingual. But it's the first example for the alphabet, the names of the letters in written in Cyrillic, Slavic. So it's very important for this mixture of languages and writing systems, because you can say that it's Greek and not Slavic, but as the style, it is more closer to the Slavic systems. And even you say, you can see here after lambda, you have me, and you have new with the letter of u, which is written not on the same way, which is you can see this type of writing of u in a peculiar writing system or orthographic system of Cyrillic. For example, you have some examples of this u where the writing system and the orthographical system is typical of a manuscript written only with the big year, only with the big R, and it's very unique letter, which is very characteristic for this writing system with the big R. So it is clearly a Slavic copyist who made this inscription, and it's a typical for the northeast Bulgaria. And it is a clear link between the manuscript tradition and the epigraphic tradition. So this mirror, so-called mirror you can see a trace of this orthographic system and graphic system in, for example, of birch letters from Novgorod, when you can where you can see examples of these letters, and it's very characteristic of the writing system and the orthographic system, because this letter is related with the big year, only big year orthographic system. So in this case, we cannot say that this type of writing is different from the, let's say, the manuscript writing and manuscript manuscript orthographic systems, and the fact that this letter appears in the letters which are related with the Greek alphabet is very, very interesting and very unique in this case. So my idea to show you some epigraphic inscriptions and to comment on them. I think this is the best approach to get familiar with these letters. In some cases, it's very hard to say whether an inscription is written in some kind of runic writing system, or it is some sort of Cyrillic, as in this inscription from Murfatvar. I hope our colleagues who now investigate and make a new edition of Murfatvar inscriptions will shed some light of all these inscriptions, because they are numerous in characters, and there are just 2 or 3 publications related with this Murfatvar inscription. So they are really important, as well as the inscriptions from Ravna, which is well a very few of them are. We are familiar with very few of them. So it's a description which the idea is, the hypothesis is that this inscription is somehow related with the Proto-Bulgarians. Well, in this particular case, I doubt that this is so, because I see the form of letters are not in the one which is supposed to be in the Cyrillic alphabet, but they are clearly, this is clearly a Cyrillic order of letters somehow. So you can see ch, j, maybe it's the part of the Gogolitic one, it's a gerf, I'm not sure, or another variant of j, jiviate. And you clearly see here the big use letter, years, and at the end you have yat. So I don't know whether is this Cyrillic inscription. I doubt it that it's a Proto-Bulgaric one. So some think. So in Murfator you have this different writing systems, and the usual one you have some kind of graffiti with Cyrillic inscription. It's just a part of some kind of inscription. We should, I don't know whether we should hypothesize about the meaning of this nabok I pomiui, because you should have here nabok I pomiuva if we are right of this reconstruction. But anyway, you can see it is without doubt that in this case it is the description is in this. You can read this. So what is interesting here that the letters of years are not written etymologically correct. So for the writer, it's maybe it was not important at all to follow some rules. What is interesting, so you have just a name of some person Ilya, written in the Gogolitic below the Cyrillic inscription. So in this case, we have parallels in writing Cyrillic and Gogolitic in many manuscripts with this graphical order. Let's say, for example, this one is in Bitula Triodion. You have a typical examples of this. Or you have in the Argyrov Triodion as well. You have a few letters written in some of Troparia. So it's very interesting that you have a lot of mixture between Cyrillic and Gogolitic. Gogolitic is just one letter or one just particular word, but we have no Gogolitic inscription as a whole. We have just this abecedary in this round church of Preslav. So if you look at this manuscript, this inscription, sorry, in this description, you can see here the form of this letter, front use letter, and what is interesting, it's a typical letter for epigraphic monuments from northeast Bulgaria, which is the same as the Greek epigraphic alpha. They are written in the same way, but in the Cyrillic inscriptions, it is with the value of n, not as the value of a. And what is more interesting is that this letter is typical normally for the orthographic system written with the big year. And you can observe this rule in Northeast epigraphic inscriptions. You can see the same rule in some Middle Bulgarian manuscripts. You can see this letter in the as a writing system of any apostle, and you can see this letter in Novgorodian Birchbark Gramotei. So it is very interesting that these writing systems they do not distinguish. You cannot distinguish the writing and orthographic system between the epigraphic inscriptions and between the manuscripts, Slavic manuscripts, which is very interesting because this way you can make some assumptions about the widespreading of these writing systems, and you can hypothesize about the traditions. For example, we have some evidence of 1 year epigraphic inscriptions in Northeast Bulgaria, which corresponds with a very interesting system which is preserved in Zograph leaflets from the 10th century. And you can observe this system in familiar manuscripts, East Old Russian, let's say, Old Russian manuscripts like Izburnik from the 1073, 1076, and maybe from the about the Mineon of Dubrovsky. They consist one and the same, circle of manuscript epigraphic monuments. So it's one of the proof, for example, that these manuscripts are somehow related with the Preslav, Pliska, or this region as well. So the epigraphic inscriptions are very valuable, or graffiti are very valuable for the reconstructions of oldest Cyrillic and Gogolitic, in some cases, writing and orthographic systems. If we have about 80 old Bulgarian inscriptions, most of them are just graffiti written in 2 or 3 words. But anyway, they are valuable because they could serve as the linking between the old Bulgarian tradition, old Russian tradition, and old Serbian tradition. For example, the first one with who make a hypothesis about the link between the epigraphic inscriptions and tradition in the oldest Serbian manuscript was Ivan Golubov, who has a very interesting paper written about this. So I would like to ask you, this is this very interesting inscription, because we have some kind of date here. For example, August of 31, probably done, as it's written here. And the beginning of the inscription is missing. Probably it's Vaimen. and the first letters from the two wines, the first wines are missing as well. So what is, tell me please, what is missing? Could we reconstruct this one? For example, you have Pokunise rap ne kluč. What is missing here? Could we reconstruct this word? No? Can you hear me?
Professor, which word exactly do you have?
What is missing here?
I would presume a small use. I think participle.
Oh, we cannot hear you, Ivan.
All right. Is it better now?
Can we write here, for example, nekluchim? Do you agree with this reconstruction? Pukunise rap nekluchim Simeon. So I would like to say something more about this inscription. And what is interesting as a language, it is Simeon per voe with the year before the R, which corresponds to, for example, we have a similar example in Zograf leaflet, and of course, we have a similar example in the these ceramic plates from Preslav with the similar expression. And of course, you know that it's a typical for the old Russian language as well. But it is, we can say that it's a common feature between the Northeast Bulgarian dialects and oldest East Slavonic manuscripts and, of course, dialects. So this is an example about the importance of Old Bulgarian epigraphic inscriptions as a whole. You can see here Tsirkvi as well with this order, which we have R before the R consonant. So without these inscriptions, we will be not sure whether the example, let's say in Zograf leaflet or this ceramic plates from Preslav, or maybe they are just mistakes. But in this way, we could be sure that it's a feature of the not only of the written, but the feature of the oral expression in 10th century, maybe in Northeast Bulgaria. So what is interesting in a lot of this graffiti and very short inscriptions, you have this feature of upraised letters which are not slanted. For example, here, Благословени, избави, покуних се, etc., etc. Of this official, let's say official inscriptions, like the inscriptions of Samuel or the inscriptions of Chernobyl Mostic, the these letters and lines are written upright without the slanting letters. So we have an example here, one more example of this Ilia written in Gogolitic. Maybe this Ilia wrote the Cyrillic examples, but in this case we cannot be sure. It's very it's a famous inscription about some Pope Jan, maybe, and we can divide here this inscription into not a Jan, which makes no sense here. Maybe a Jan in the meaning of us, us Jan. So some Pope Jan, he go in some way, and he wrote about his sins here. Very nice inscription. Maybe the most interesting for me inscription from Morfatar. So we have this idea here, which this is the other view of the same the same inscription, maybe more clear than the picture, the images. So you can see the same here. Front use letter, the writing of this letter, and of course you can see here the very interesting writing of Ya, which is this type of this type of form is actually very unique and is written only, as far as I know, only here. So you can see the typical features of an inscription which is not so-called official, because it's the lines are not correct. He's doing all what is of his possible how to say, he made it as best as he can to write this inscription, but you can see that it is not written very well. But the text is very interesting. So the text is we can value this inscription for the text and not for the form. That you can see here, for example, Otce Vasei Crkvi, the V letter is missing here on the fourth line, but otherwise you have you can say you have a very old inscription, Slavic inscription, and you can I can convince you that it's a very old inscription. Just see the letter for J, Jiviate, on the fourth and on the fifth line, and I think it's the oldest form of this letter, along with the form of A. You can be sure that it's a very unique, very old inscription. The same goes with about the C letter here, but the writing of Yat is not very old. We can see examples of Yat which is with the older form in other inscriptions. So it is typical for this graffiti that the letters are not written regularly. They not sit or stay on the line below. For example, they are mixing between the let's say hanging letters and standing letters. And this example of this, please see on the fifth line, Crkvi, the letter R, which is written with very, very interesting. It's a hanging letter, but the upper part of it is not in line with the ts or k. All these letters are they are swimming in the text somehow in the line. So a famous citation from the Matthew from the Murfatwar, written in from other person, and this is a typical example. The chronological framework is 10th century. And what is interesting here, we have an example of mixture of used letters. For example, you have here pisano bo poražen pastyrja I razidot sen ovci. And you have instead of on poražon, you have here poražen, which is typical Middle Bulgarian confusion of letters for uses. So it is actually it's the first example of it. So when this is published, it shook the historians of Bulgarian language, because everybody says in every handbook of Old Bulgarian and Middle Bulgarian, you can read that that's a Middle Bulgarian confusion, and this Middle Bulgarian confusion now you can see here in the 10th century. So nothing is you can say nothing about that. You should how to say write the history of Bulgarian language or Bulgarian phonology in new way. So what I would like to say, and I would like to convince you that this we cannot make a separate reconstruction of the writing system of epigraphic monuments from the earliest period. Maybe for the Middle Bulgarian periods, together with the Serbian inscriptions, we can make such comparison with the book style of letters, but for the oldest period, we cannot say this. You know this inscription from Nishava in Serbian. No Serbian, and this is part of the names of the 40 martyrs from Sebasta, and it is a very interesting and typical examples of the link between the style of epigraphic inscriptions and the styles of letters from the manuscripts. You can see striking resemblance between the form of these letters in this particular inscription, and you can compare it with the known Old Bulgarian, Old Serbian, and Old Russian manuscripts, and you can see a lot of features which are common between all these epigraphic monuments and manuscripts as well. You can make a link between this type of letters, for example, and the style of ceramic plates from the Preslav. They're very similar as the style of letters, writing letters. One famous example of this graffiti, I doubt that this could be called in the description, an official description, is this inscription from the Mircea Voda in Romania, now in Romanian, and we can make some better readings here. For example, from the other sources, from the other publications, you have here Gârtiach, and we are not sure what is the historical background of this inscription, but if we believe to the historians and archaeologists, it should be related with some historical events of this time, 1943, and you can see a very interesting particular feature here. You have Gârtiach instead of Grătiach, so the writer is confused. Maybe the intention was maybe to write with the R before the R letter, but somehow he preserved the second part as well, which resembles for example, old Russian inscriptions. Then we have some examples as well, but it is the only example, and when you have just one case, you couldn't be sure that this is part of the speech of this writer, or it is just some kind of mistake, maybe. But it's valuable because it's the only place where we have such a feature. Maybe in these ceramic plates we have something similar of this, but for the interpretation we have no enough data to be sure. So if we compare such features, paleographic or orthographic features, with the manuscripts, the only one which is very old is the so-called Macedonian Cyrillic leaflet. There we can find some examples of this feature as well. So the language of these inscriptions are not unique, and it's not separated from let's say the language of the Old Bulgarian manuscripts. One of my famous favorite inscriptions is the inscription from the Odrci. It is published by Pope Konstantinov, and it's published by I think Liliana Doncheva as well. It's very typical amulet about the Nejit. I don't know how is Nejit in English, so forgive me. And you can see it's very old one, because when you see the letters, one typical letter which we could consider as very old form is the letter for ch. And you see here, Sariate Isu, on the fourth line, you can read third and fourth line. For example, Isriate Isu, which is, the meaning is Isusu, maybe. Isu have no meaning at all. I rece, and when you see this rece, the written form of this ch is similar. It came, there is a hypothesis that it came from the Gogolitic one, with the similar form. The upper one, the upper part of the letter is similar as the Gogolitic one, and the form is very, very old. And what is particularly interesting is some form which is not, we can see here, we have a mirror U, but in the Bulgarian tradition, we have no mirror Ya. And here we have this mirror Ya. See, for example, човякон мозга и сръцат кръве, etc. Пролият кости, etc., etc. So we have a mirror ц here, and you have a mirror ya in proliyat, for example. Very interesting monument, not only as a text, which the text is very interesting as well, but as well as the for the paleographic features, very, very interesting. We have some an inscription of Bojadžiev, for example, from the 13th century, a little bit later, when we have a mirror Bicchus, for example, mutated Bicchus, written in some this way as this ya. So it is a very rare and ancient feature from the time, the beginnings of this particular writing style is the beginning of Cyrillic alphabet, when they look for the convenient way to write mutated letters for mutated vowels. So I think it's very, very old as a writing system monument. I'm not sure how it is dated, but I think it's end of 10th and beginning of 11th century. For amulets, the dating is very complicated, because normally, in this case, we know that it's found near Oderci village, not far from Dobrich. But normally, these people, they do not say where these amulets have been found at all. So we have a look here that we know exactly the place of this origin here. In general, I think that when we when we made these comparisons, I think I cannot be convinced that we have a right to say that the style of writing manuscripts, especially Cyrillic and Gogolitic, is different from the style of writing this epigraphic monuments, epigraphic inscriptions. I don't know what you thinking about, and I'll be curious to find out what is your opinion. But even if we compare exactly this inscription with the amulet, with forms and styles of writing manuscripts, you can see here very interesting parallels between this particular inscription and manuscripts like leaflets of Undovsky Folia, and Tenina, yes, and the orthographic system, let's say, and writing system of Enina Apostle. Because you have this here, the orthographic system just with one big R, and you have exactly the same form of the letter for front use, and you have Eri, which is written together, the first and the second part with this line between them. So you have very interesting parallels here of writing, and you have parallels in the orthographic system as well. With this particular mirror C and mirror Ya, which is very interesting, which correspond to the mirror U in this manuscript with this orthographic system. So if you have some question, I'll be happy to answer. It is for me, it is very interesting to make observations, concrete observations, and not to make some great conclusions about these links. I think it's worth to continue this idea of make observations between the writing systems and orthographic systems of manuscripts, and the same in the inscriptions, epigraphic inscriptions, because it is really, I think it's a difference in this regard between the Slavic evidence and the Greek and Latin evidence. I think they are different in these traditions, all these traditions. But maybe I'm not right. Please tell me if you agree or not. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Bojadžiev. It was very interesting material and very interesting commentary. And I think there are a lot of questions. Now, dear colleague, please, you are free to ask, to express your opinions, or to add some observations.
Well, if I can add, it's Marta Ribarante here. If I can
Yes.
add some comment, it's very interesting. I never saw this last, let's say, medal, this inscription that we saw, and the script of the last, let's say, monument that you show us. I think it's somehow the same. Like, I don't want to say the same, but it's very similar to something like, I don't know, Enina Apostle or like Savina Knjiga, for example. The script is very, very, very similar, and I think that we should work in this direction of comparing at least the script by this point of view. Of course, we have to, let's say, consider this bilinear, quadrilinear system. In the, let's say, in this kind of monument, we only have like a bilinear system, but it's very, very close. And I really thank you for this lecture today, because I don't know a lot about epigraphy. I always wanted to deepen this connection between epigraphy and paleography, and it was highlighting. Very, very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta. Well, you're right, and that's the reason I'm thinking that the dating of this the last inscription is false. I think it's earlier, because it has such examples with the Savina Kniga and Edin Apostle. So we are both sharing the same ideas.
Yes, because if we see, for example, a codex, for example, Supra-Zelinsky, that is different. That's another type, let's say, of Cyrillic. Yeah. But these two, especially these two, yes. That just got in my mind. Of course, we should deepen a little bit more. But these two exactly are the same, are done in the same way. Letter, for example, Yat is done exactly in that way, or some other letters. So very, very interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marta. And now Milena Davidovic has a question. Please, Milena.
Yes, hello, and thank you very much for your presentation. Well, my question, and I have one question and one comment. One question is, can we or should we establish a difference between inscriptions and graffiti in a graphic sense? And comment is about the first example that you put on your presentation. I saw that scribe or epigrapher mixed P and L.
Yes. The writer made a mistake. He wrote P and then saw this, or maybe some other writer saw this mistake and wrote above the letter wrote L, Lubei. So it's very common, very known, well-known mistake of this writer. And what was the first? Sorry, Milena. What was the first question?
First question is, should we establish a difference between inscriptions like original records and graphics in a graphic sense?
Yes, I think we should, because these more lengthy inscriptions, normally they are in style different from the graffiti. And I think we have, for example, very good thematic typology. Let's say from our codex in Serbia and Bulgaria and in Russia. For example, Stefan Smialovsky made some such thematic typology, but actually we have no. As far as I know, we have no established typology in regard with style, writing styles. And you saw they are very different, these graffiti and inscriptions. And I doubt that we can put together all these styles. Interesting that you see most of them, they originate from the Dobruja and Northeast Bulgaria nowadays. But we have very rare inscriptions, the inscription from later period, from 12th to 14th century, from the South Bulgaria, which they are different. They are from different centuries. So if we can make such a kind of project and establish methods of this comparison, maybe we can see another results. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Please, another questions? Can I say some words, because it was really very interesting presentation, and I think that the most important thing was the difference between the inscriptions and the graffiti, and the observation of Professor Bojadžiev of the shape of the letters, which are very unique in the traditions, very rare. And I have to ask, how do you explain the appearance of these mirror letters? You know, we all know that the mirror U appears also in the manuscripts, not a lot, but in a few manuscripts it is registered. The mirror Ya is very interesting. And have you any hypothesis about these letters? Why? Maybe an experiment of the scribe, or
Well, I think
or
that
a typically chronological
the
marker.
yes, I think that these epigraphic inscriptions they give us another point of view. Actually, when you see them, when you try to read them, you how to say you actually could be sure that we don't know enough about this, let's say, the beginning of Cyrillic alphabet, or especially about the how to say the first years of this writing Slavic writing systems, and the fact that we have such a mirror Ya, for example, and mirror U or mirror Bicchus, which originate for me, they are originating from the first days of Cyrillic, and maybe you can say it's like writing some kind of stamp with mirror letters, but this is not the case here. I think there are some remains from the early days of Cyrillic alphabet, when it is not decided, it was not established in rock that this will be the form of the letter. I think so. Maybe I'm not right. Whether we can use it as the chronological feature, I'm not sure. I believe we can. But we have such mirror letters from the very late period of, let's say, this Bojadžiev inscription, and then we should explain somehow how it survived to let's say to 13th century. So the interesting one is to separate. I think you're right in this, to separate inscriptions from graffiti, and then to try to make some kind of typologization of letters, a form of the letters, and see whether they coincide or they are different. My feeling is that there are some differences which are not very well documented, but maybe I'm not right. I don't know. How do you think?
We must collect them and then make the analysis. Thank you very much. Dear colleague, maybe you are tired. We have a long time, but it was very interesting to hear the observations and of Professor Bojadžiev. I must thank you once again. You are welcome for another lecture, because the problem is very interesting. There are different points of view, there are different approaches to them. I hope you will still work on this matter, so maybe we will have the possibility to see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
colleagues,
much
all of
to
you.
all colleagues.
Thank you very
I'll be
much.
glad I'll be glad to work together with you on some of these ideas. Thank you very much once again, and have a nice evening.
Thank you. Have a nice evening, dear colleague, and we expect the next hour lection. Okay.